The way that we react to things when they cross our paths is ultimately comes down to learned behaviors. I've been I've been I started listening to this book called The Boy and the Cockroach or something like that, or A Boy and the something like that. And I was listening to it, and I have not finished it, but these are just my thoughts of the book so far and what it is essentially trying to convey. So there's this boy that has a lot of these negative thoughts in his head about just a lot of things, about the past, about love, about cockroaches, hence the book's name. And they were given the analogy of the boy. He is a little kid and he sees a cockroach at the table and he starts screaming. And he says it's scary, it's gross, all these things. And the book says that he remembers a time when he was young, when he saw his mother see a cockroach and start screaming and say it's scary and say it's gross. And from then on, he looked at cockroaches the same way. He expressed his feelings towards them as his mother did. But what it's trying to say is that our initial childish curiosity kind of got stripped away from us. And that is due to learned behaviors from our environment. And at the end of that story, it was saying that he stopped and actually looked at the cockroach again with wonder, with curiosity. And he looked at it without fear, without anything external telling him what to think of the cockroach. And he just genuinely examined it and looked at it and was curious. And he said, hey, he's kind of just like me. And then another two stories are being told about when he like goes up to his mom, or well, his mom one, and then his dad another story, and they start yelling at him, say to get away, get out of here. They just start saying a bunch of mean things to him, and as he grew up, he came to believe those things because that's what he was taught from the people around him. The reason why a lot of us have these negative thoughts about ourselves isn't necessarily because it's true, but because that's what we've been taught. But when we actually take a step back and again look at ourselves and look at the things around us with childish curiosity, we begin to see the real beauty in things and the realness of things without our thoughts being dictated by the people around us, by the things around us. And that is a sad reality that as we grow up, we're taught to lose that childish wonder. And I'm obviously not grown up and I'm still very young, but even now, just getting life getting more and more real, we are kind of taught to lose that little child in us and kind of suppress it. But I find that when I let that version of me, little version of me come up, I I'm just more happy and I'm less stressed and I'm more curious and I find myself talking to more people and ultimately loving myself more. And it also in the book it says how he sees all these people that love themselves and like take care of themselves and hold themselves like in such a precious way, like not precious but like careful way, like we're nice to ourselves, we don't put ourselves down all the time. He was like, how do they do that? How does one do that? Until he took this time to take a step back and just look at everything around him, taking the beauty on what's around him and all the experiences he had. He doesn't have to look at the past as such a negative thing. He can look at it as something to learn from. And I think we can all do that. We can all learn from our negative experiences rather than letting them tear us down. That's why I like Stoicism, because we cannot change what has already happened. We can only change how we react to things that have happened. We can only move forward choosing how we want to, choosing what we want to take away from the experience. And I see people doing a lot of what you shouldn't do. Because yes, you can choose to walk out of that bad experience saying, "Oh, I'm never gonna do that again. I hate this. I can't believe I embarrassed myself that bad. I can't believe all these things are happening to me." Or you can go and say, "Hey, I'm alive. I made it through it. I didn't die, so I'm okay, and I can keep going with that learned as a lesson, and I can learn to not make the same mistake again." Which is a phenomenal way to view your mistakes. Instead of tearing yourself down for them, you can learn from them and then continue on looking out for ways to avoid the same mistake. That was just a little rant that I wanted to go on because I actually, for the first time in a minute, let myself just. I've been really stimulated lately, so I just got this book, I just got this audiobook, and I was like, come on, let's chill. I went on a walk and I just started listening to it, and it was good. So I just wanted to rant about that and whatever else came up on my mind. But what I want you to take away from this video is that you shouldn't be suppressing your little self, your childlike wonder, but just talking to people, learning about different things, making mistakes, and learning from them. That is ultimately what you should aim to do. And whatever mistakes happen, whatever mistakes you have, it is not worth it to beat yourself up because you get nothing from that. The only, in my mind, logical way to go about that is to just learn from it and move on. Because I have made a lot of mistakes, some more grave than others. And you know, I was kind of scared for some of them, but I inevitably moved on, and I'm not dead. I'm fine. What I'm really trying to do is just lead by example, which is why I'm making these videos. Lead by example and show people that there's a better way to live, because I see a lot of people just choosing the path of least resistance, as David Goggins says. A lot of people just do the easy thing. They complain. They don't go work out. They just don't do all these things that are so good for them. And you just don't have to do that. Just because it's easy doesn't mean it's a thing that you should do. The path of least resistance not will most of the time not get you results that you're proud of. So yeah, I'd say those are the three things I want you to take away from this video. I went off on a little extra tangent there, but let yourself be child. Let yourself have your childish wonder. You can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you react to what happens to you. And this is a little oddball. I don't know why I just went off on this rant, but choosing the path of least resistance isn't always the best. I'm really bad at closing out videos, so this is me closing out the video.